Only 7 points separate Jeff Wright and Brian Chambliss from the Outsider Racing League season championship heading into the final race and the conclusion of the season and the series. Tonight, a doubleheader event at Las Vegas and Fontana, California will wrap up several great years of racing. This is the Outsider Racing League season finale, race 17 and 18 of 2022. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer and Finian DeCuna bringing you the final races of the Outsider Racing League, not only for 2022, but for some time. Finian, it's been a great ride with this group. 2 very short races to finish out the season.
Yeah, really looking forward to these races because it's going to change up a lot of the way these guys are going to be performing tonight. A lot of them are used to a race being pretty much twice the length, slightly more of an endurance race, but it's going to be effectively an all-out sprint from the green to the checkered flag in 2 races back-to-back. And also the second race, too, these guys are going to be going in. We're going to be firing up immediately after race 1 ends at a completely different track, to be at Auto Club. And so they're going to have to change gears very quickly, not have a whole lot of time to practice, and get going. So it's going to be a lot of unknowns, and it's going to be an intense championship battle between our 2 competitors.
Las Vegas Motor Speedway, constructed in 1996. Speedway was constructed at a cost of $72 million. Of course, they've probably made their money back since then. This track now on the schedule a handful of times throughout the season and will play host to the final round of the season for the Outsider Racing League. Again, I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna. A couple minutes remaining here in qualifying. We'll head down to the racetrack and bring you the action. Bayley Turner currently on track, running second in that number 24, the Lawn Tech Chevrolet. Big slide out of turn 4, coming back to the start-finish. He'll bail out on this lap. Eddie Trejo, Alec Martinez is back. Dustin German with us tonight as well. Jerry West, some new names. Chris Rabel in the number 29. But Turner, Casto, Carwile, Massey round out the rest of the top 5. But on provisional pole, Jeff Wright in that number 48.
Yeah, we're going to be looking and see what he can do coming in as the points leader, but just slightly, only 7 points over Brian Chambliss, which again, considering we got 2 races to go in this season, effectively they're the main 2 competitors in this championship. Chad Klinger, who's 3rd in the standings, I don't think he is here tonight, so effectively just a battle between Wright and Chambliss for the cup.
There's Eddie Trejo, the number 21, as he rolls around through turns 3 and 4 and gets himself set up for, actually this is over in turns 1 and 2 rather. He's currently 10th and heading now down the Nellis straightaway to finish up his qualifying effort in the United Rentals number 21. Sails off into turn 3, and one of the things I loved about this season, Finian, using the Class B Xfinity car and bringing the straightaway speed back that we'd so dearly missed from the previous Gen 6 cars across the line. Trejo will improve 1 spot up to 9th.
Trying to see. I'm really curious to see is Alec Martinez coming back in. Literally just joined while we were going live, so he has no practice. But we know he's a very fast driver, so I'm curious to see where he ends up on the timesheets.
Like Dustin German will crawl to a stop at the exit of turn number 4, and he'll call it quits before the beginning of our second to last race of the season. This race will be 65 laps. One at Fontana, roughly the same length, but looks like Jeff Wright, Bayley Turner will be on your front row for this penultimate race of the season. Brian Chambliss will have some work to do to get ahead of Jeff Wright in the race, Finian, and it's going to be tough for both of those drivers to compete at such a high level. A lot of expectations on a night like this, especially going out in style. You really have to keep yourself in check the best you can because emotions can run high, especially at the tail end of not only a season, but the road that the Outsider Racing League has been on for the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to perform. He's been on fire. I would definitely say the championship favorite going into the playoffs with 5 wins to his name. And Chambliss only with 2. That being said, though, Chambliss has been putting up a pretty decent fight and some pretty solid competitive finishes as of late. So he's been getting up there. Again, I feel like it's Jeff Wright's race to lose. That being said, if a mistake happens or something else happens, you got to remember we got a bunch of other competitors out here, and they're effectively just racing for a race win. If he gets caught up in some mess, Brian could be walking home away with the championship.
Here's a look at your weather information. 68 degrees in the air, very pleasant out there, I'd say. Track temp, though, 102 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty toasty, and I do think we'll see that temperature continue to climb with partly cloudy skies here today. That could be a big factor. Even in a short 65-lap race, we've seen temperatures fluctuate pretty rapidly here in iRacing with these big open tracks with really nowhere to hide and nowhere to find shade.
Yeah, and also one thing I want to mention too before we go, actually I guess we'll start going with the grid since they're all just about to roll off.
Kicking things off on row number, well, we'll try that one more time. A little ahead of myself there. Try that again. Here we go. On row number 1, it's going to be Jeff Wright, the number 48. Bayley Turner, the 24, will roll off alongside him on that first row finish.
And rolling back to row number 2, Sean Castro going to be lined up in 52 in 3rd. Ryan Carlo going to be lined up in 4th.
Starting behind them in row number 3 will be Ray Massey, the number 23. Chris Rabel, the 29, will roll off alongside him in 6th place.
Back in 7th, we find the number 9 of Brian Chambliss. He's got a little bit of work to do to move to the front. And rounding out row 4, Caleb Weekly in the 10 car on the outside.
Eddie Trejo starts 9th in the number 21. Ben Laughter rolls off 10th in the number 64.
And moving on back to 11, Alec Martinez has been lined up in the 18 car on the inside. Jerry West in the 86 on the right-hand side in 12th. And rounding out your field of 13, Dustin German in the 100 car.
There's a look at your starting lineup here as the field heads down the long back straightaway here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway off into turn number 3 and 4. 65 laps is a sprint around here. Make no mistake. Looks like Eddie Trejo did not make the grid. He might roll off from the pit lane, but again, a sprint race certainly tonight. And this will make the intensity very, very high. Packed up, paired up, 7 rows deep. For the penultimate time in 2022, the Outsider Racing League is geared up, racked up, stacked up for the penultimate race of the season. Championship battle 48-9. At Las Vegas Motor Speedway, roll the dice, place your bets, green flag flies, and we're racing at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Big slide, car on the outside. Sean Castro gathers it up, but here comes Turner to the inside, Finian. Huge moment for the 52, but he carries on and continues. Could have been real bad, though, with cold tires this early in the race. Really easy to get sideways and never recover.
Yeah, Bayley Turner had to let off the gas trying to make sure he didn't get into the number 52 on the outside, but did a great job able to save it. And here comes Carl with some muscle on the outside lane.
Ryan Carwile pushing and shoving and trying to make his way through that pack. Turner on the inside, Castro on the outside, Jeff Wright trying to drive away, and Brian Chambliss in the number 9 trying to run all of this group down.
And like we said, he's got a little bit of work to do trying to catch back up. There's Eddie Trejo on the bottom. He ended up losing connection to the server is why he didn't start the race, but out on the track, a few laps down though.
Cars poking out of line in the backdrop. Chris Rabel, Dustin German side by side. Rabel on the inside and the 29. German on the outside of the 100 car. Caleb Weekly in a very colorful livery, trying to grab position away from German.
Down on the apron. You got to be very careful when you get down on the apron because a lot of times guy on the outside is not going to let you want to come back up. But up in front, Jeff Wright trying to hold off the 52 Castro with a great run up the corner.
Squeeze is up to the outside of Jeff Wright and tried to go up the outside, but Wright closed that door and they almost touched. That could really end up in a car getting turned nose first into the outside wall, so they both come out the other side of it, but that was an aggressive move there for the top spot.
You got to be really careful. That's what we're talking about. You know, if Jeff Wright, again, he's got a championship on the line, is he willing to fight with the 52 or maybe potentially let him on by? Feels like it's not worth fighting.
Castro's got a head of steam and is looking very racy right now. Again, goes to the outside. I like that he's trying the different line that Wright is not using. But that might take a couple laps for that line to really come in and be the optimal line at the moment. I think the inside's the place to be. But look at Castro building the runs here on the straightaway. That's something that you typically see with those outside lines, and he keeps trying it, and we'll see if he can make it succeed.
Yeah, he's been getting some really good runs, although now it looks like he's diving a little bit to the middle lane in behind the 48. He stopped running that outside lane for now, but he's definitely trying different lines to see where he can beat the 48 at. And for the most part, it's working as both these two guys slowly break away from the rest of the field. Carwile leading the rest of the back in third.
Yeah, Carwile has slotted himself into P3 now. And this race, if left unchecked, it will go green. 30 minutes is all we've got left. Castro right to the rear bumper of the 48, turns it down to the bottom try to get some clean air on the nose. And we have a battle for the lead here in the outside of Racing League. Nose to tail, Wright, Casto, Carwile, Turner, Massey, Chambliss, your top 6, and the 52 car is there.
Yeah, I think just a slight shove off into the corner definitely prevented the 48 from slowing down. Was trying to look to the inside, but 52 kind of compromised his exit a little bit, so he's still in pursuit, but putting a lot of pressure on the 48.
Into turn 1. Lots of banking to lean on here at Las Vegas. It's a fast racetrack. There is a battle going on back here with Caleb Weekly and the 29 Arable as well. And in the background, you see Ben Laughter, Jerry West going at it. But I think the top spot might be the most volatile. Again, Casto goes high. Rim riding the outside lane. Crossing back over.
Yeah, also a lot of time that time by. He definitely seems like he's got a car where you can just kind of throw it anywhere. He feels like he's comfortable up high, in the middle, down low. Most of the guys have just been sticking to the middle to lower part of the track. So we know that if he wants to, he feels like he can place his car up on the top side. Question is that the better line? Is the line going to get better or worse as the race goes on?
I don't know. I wonder what the tire wear will look like towards the end of this run. I would assume that being on the bottom would wear out your tires more, but maybe without the grip up there, you're sliding the front tires a little bit, just trying to get it to turn in and keep it off the fence. This time Casto goes to the bottom, Wright goes to the middle. Keeping Wright guessing through 1 and 2 and closes the gap here.
You can see 52 struggling for grip, car sliding up halfway through the corner. Just lacking that grip. I think he might have burned it up a little bit too early. At least enough to keep it on that bottom lane.
Good look at Alec Martinez in the number 18. The extra gum car. We haven't seen Alec here in a couple of years at this point. Used to win races left and right, but it's been a while since we've seen Alec running with us. P7 at the moment after starting this race in 11th.
He's doing pretty good so far. He's trying to catch up to the lead group. Effectively, he actually has caught up to the lead group.
Whoa.
Ray Massey.
Big moment at the exit of turn 2. Weekly and German still going at it. Both striped cars. Black and silver on the inside, rainbow on the outside. And German will complete that spot.
Move for second, though. It seems like Carwell is now on the attack of Casto.
And Turner's on the attack on Carwile, so the top 4 under a blanket. Again, look at the yaw the 71 car has. I think we've seen that a bunch tonight. The cars kind of hanging the right rear out into the wind, using that side force to get through the corner, but they're all going to flay out 3 abreast almost into turn 3. Formation flying.
This is a tough thing to do, that run off the corner, kind of hard to beat, especially in Turner's case. Carwell going to continue to stick to that 3rd spot. Gonna make sure Turner doesn't get past him, but no dice on 2nd yet.
Even Ray Massey getting into the mix now. Jeff Wright is scooted away up to a half second out in front of Sean Casto, but the drivers behind are being reeled back into this mix, and here comes Carwile for 2nd place on Casto.
Yeah, he got a fantastic run out of turn 2, taking advantage of that all the way. You can see both of them on completely opposite sides of the track. Carwile ripping the bottom lane, but now at the exit of the corner comes Casto back up on top. It's drag race side by side at the line, separated by thousandths of a second as they go off into turn 1.
Carwile hunting for the white line. Casto sort of nebulous in the middle. Here comes the 24 with a run, but where do you go?
And nowhere to go. He's completely boxed in. You're going to try to gas up in the middle, try to get to the outside of the 71. He's there by about a quarter panel. It's very close, almost to touching the 71.
Jeff Wright loves this. He's driving away while these guys fight for scraps for 2nd. 15 laps complete of 65, and now Turner with a great run on Carwile. He should be able to complete this pass here with the run. And look at Massey. He's going to try to fill the hole on the outside. Here he comes.
It's Massey going, don't mind me, don't mind if I do. He tries to rip the outside lane around Carwile as he's getting pretty much freight trained by everyone taking advantage of him.
Wright continues to drive away 0.8 of a second, 0.9 of a second.
Whoa.
Now Casto onto the apron. Gonna snap that car down there. Let's have a look at that.
Yeah, that was an aggressive cut down to the apron.
Just takes a hard left right here. Trying to shortcut that up a little bit. Not really sure if that gained him a lot, but he hangs on to 2nd, so it didn't hurt him that much.
I guess that was him just attempting to make sure that Turner's was stuck in behind him. I'm going to assume that's what it was. Ooh, I see the number 9, Chambliss, very loose off the corner. He's hanging all out. Here comes Alec Martinez with the run on the outside.
Martinez looking for 6th spot in one of the leading, I think it is the leading Toyota Supra. All Camaros up front with the exception of the 2 Mustangs in 4th and 5th, Massey and Carwile. Then it's the Supra of Alec Martinez. Let's ride on board.
He's actually the sole Supra.
The leading and the only. Gives it a little extra squirt of throttle right when he gets down to the apron just to try to gather up any more front grip, the right front tire. Big slide from those behind Rabel and German going for a moment. This is a great battle here. Look at the silver 100 to the outside of the 29. He'll beat Chris to the line and have 8th place for a moment. 2 Mustangs battling into turn 1.
You got a pinch, 29 down on the bottom as he rips around.
Whoa, big slide out of turn 2, and here comes Turner for the 2nd place on Casto, and Massey comes with them. Everybody's fanned out at the exit of the corner, and they're 2 abreast now.
Yeah, that all started with the 52. He came slow off of turn number 2. You'll see it right here. He thought he was good. It's one of those things you realize last second he's about to hit the wall, brushes it just a little bit, and that caused a huge checkup in 9.
Everybody's scattered. Try not to run into each other as we head back live now. Turner's got 2nd place, Casto to 3rd. Massey now to the bottom of the racetrack. Alec Martinez gets around Carwile. He's going to go for another one here. 3 wide of the back straightaway. Here comes the 18 past 2. One of the Mustangs, one of the Camaros. 23 and 52 under fire.
Yeah, and Martinez can be a nice and tuck on the inside lane. Going to at least get past 1 car. Maybe not Massey this time by, though.
Past the start-finish line. Martinez gets 1 and now goes for the 2nd. Ooh, squeeze there, contact, and the 23 up into the wall out of turn 2. And that's big damage for Ray Massey. Here it is again.
And Massey coming. Oh, you can see him break. It almost looks like he broke a little bit loose, and that's what he's saying on the radio right now. He said when he was starting into turn 1, broke a little bit loose mid-corner. You can see him slide down the track just a little bit in trying to save it.
Yeah, nothing Martinez did wrong there. He just kind of got hit from the right, which is not typically how that would happen. That was a little strange.
And 29 coming into the pits.
Oh, Casto coming with him. Yep, and Carwile decided to go with him as well. And the leader is also on pit road, so Jeff Wright will bring it down. German will stay out, and he'll lead a lap.
I was trying to find time to say this. The reason why guys are coming in earlier than probably most people are thinking is because fuel is limited to 50%, not the normal 80, due to the reduced distance. So that's why we're seeing very early pit stops.
Up front, German and Martinez as pit stops are underway down in pit lane. And the 48 had a pretty solid lead, so unless he gets a penalty here, he should be free and clear.
Whoa!
Martinez slides it down to pit lane. I heard you say, whoa, I saw the speed reducing on the 18, and I had to think that's where it's coming from. He gets it down.
You should hear him on board when he was coming down. He would have destroyed the transmission if this was an actual car.
Well, let's go back a little further and see what was going on. Riding on board with Martinez.
He's going to the inside of German, getting ready to come into pit lane. Here, listen to the downshifts.
Oh, whoa! Oh, that was just pedal mashing at some point. I don't know which one was the clutch, which one was the brake. Doesn't matter. I pressed them all, and out and away he goes. Relatively efficient entry, all things considered. Dustin German is in. Brian Chambliss out in front of Jeff Wright.
Yeah, that's because he came in about 2 laps earlier than Jeff Wright. This is why we're seeing him get into the lead. And again, this is, I imagine, strategic. Chambliss, I think, was hoping to lead a lap. Unfortunately, Dustin German's still in the lead. although not for long, as German's in the pits, and as they come by pit lane now, Chambliss will officially be the lead, so I think he's going to try to hope he can lead at least one lap. Jeff Wright going to try to deny him that.
Man, this is good stuff. Again, Chambliss was trailing Wright by 7 points coming into the night. We'll need to beat him probably in both races to really stand a chance, and Wright is back to him.
He's come off the corner, got a lap car ahead, I believe that's Eddie Trejo. So Chambliss will officially lead at least one lap, so there's 1 bonus point to his name. Here comes Wright trying to look on the outside lane.
He should be able to make pretty quick work of the 9 here. I imagine tire wear is pretty significant, so 48 should clear Chambliss here. But all Brian can do is just try to keep him in sight. A lot of racing left to go tonight, not only this race, but the next.
I think big thing as well is going to be just making sure Chambliss can at least try to stay up as high through the order once we get to halfway.
Yeah, the halfway points are a big deal tonight for sure.
Every little point's going to count considering how close it is. Although at the moment, again, all the advantages are looking to be in Jeff Wright's favor, leading and dominating most of this race.
Dustin German, Ben Lafter trading 9th position. And German driving away fairly quickly. Closing in on halfway also. This is such a short race that you don't have a lot of time to recover from mistakes or make them. So that's the silver lining and all that. Gary West under fire. Chris Rabel, the 29, to the bottom.
Yeah, Rabel trying to sneak his 29 up the inside. A little bit of a shake in the middle of the corner. And can't quite get the run off the corner. 86 is going to blast down the straightaway in front of him. It's amazing how close everyone is now that the pit stop's occurred. Everyone got separated out quite a bit.
Yeah, it did spread out the field as a whole, but there are lots of groups of cars that have sort of formulated. The top 3 is one of those groups. 8th through 10th is another. But up front, Jeff Wright is beginning to stretch the distance on Chambliss. Bayley Turner, though, is not too far back from the 9, only 3 or 4 tenths. But expect second place to change hands, or at least a fight to occur for it in the next 5 or 10 laps.
Yeah, Turner's coming up pretty quickly on both cars, mainly the number 9. And for Chambliss, I think he's trying to hold on. Halfway points are going to be dished out at the end of lap 33. And if for that, he's going to have to hold off Turner for a little over 3 laps. It's going to be a tall ass, especially because Chambliss's tires already look a bit spent.
I wanted to take a look at how the entered turn 3. Watch the turn-in from Chambliss over the turn-in from Turner. Chambliss turns in a little later. Turner's turning in earlier, and I wonder how much that changes your tire wear when you kind of follow the natural entrance of the corner versus trying to arc it in. You can tell, I think Chambliss is arcing it in a little stronger, and it's not working for him. Here comes the 24 for second place.
And Chambliss really can't put a whole lot of fight. I mean, try to stay in that outside lane, can't quite stay there, doesn't have enough grip or traction in the corner to keep that outside, so it'll go to Bayley Turner up to P2.
Clouds have sort of come over the racetrack, but the track temp's still well over 100 degrees at this point.
Definitely in the desert.
In the desert, that is for sure. Who builds houses out here? There's nothing out here.
I don't know.
There's no water. Why would you build a house here?
Actually, how far is Vegas outside of Vegas?
Sentence? What?
The track.
Okay.
The track of Vegas. How far is it outside of the town of Las Vegas?
Well, it's not really in Las Vegas, is it? It's in...
Well, I imagine it's pretty far, right? Because it's close by the mountains.
Oh, it is in Las Vegas. To the strip.
Well, there's Las Vegas County, right?
It's about
like
20, it's about
city.
17 miles to the northeast.
Okay.
If anyone was wondering. Here's the stat of the day. The stat I had loaded was cost $72 million to build. And probably $71 million of that was procuring water.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't imagine how much budget goes to maintaining the grass on the front stretch.
Oh.
You know, I'm really surprised that they haven't switched that to AstroTurf. With that, 'cause I think isn't Charlotte the only one that's actually done that?
Yeah, I think so. And I think maybe Atlanta, the new track, I think is also.
Oh, that would make sense.
It
Yeah.
might be AstroTurf. I don't know. I actually, admittedly, have not even driven on the new one yet. Just updated iRacing a couple hours ago. Took me a second. Sometimes people ask me, like, Kyle, you broadcast iRacing. How do you not update iRacing all the time? Well, I also have, at work, at Grid Life, I also, update computers all day long. Like, I'm updating them for a bunch of sims for some trade show stuff for Napa in a couple weeks. And all I do is update iRacing. And the last thing I want to do when I get home is update iRacing more.
It could be worse. It could be trying to update Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I don't think there's any time in my day to do that. Not more than once, at least. Carwile just got by Chambliss for third, and Dustin German and the 29 to Chris Rabel battling for position. Ray Massey and Ben Laughter trading spots. Laughter is on pit lane. This seems like an unscheduled stop.
Let's see. Yeah.
Maybe just, you know what he could do is probably can go to the end from here is probably why he's pitting.
I guess so. It's going to be a bit of a tall ask, especially because everyone's going to be on a lot fresher tires. But hey, I mean, might as well try something, right?
Don't they have a water tax in Vegas? Probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of states in like the Southwest and West in general have water taxes.
This is why you live in the Great Lakes, folks. Plenty of water for when the zombies come. And they will come. We're here first. Or not. There are all the dozens of movies about it and video games. But you heard it from me now, so. Great Lakes, folks. On board with Casto in the 52. Started third, had a battle up, almost took the lead away from Jeff Wright early, and now has slipped back into fifth. And he's got Brian Chambliss ahead of him. Now, Chambliss pit early on that first stop. That didn't work out for him. Ooh, you see Casto get really understeery, and he's in the fence out of turn two. Here comes Martinez for fifth.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy pass for Martinez. And this is not the first time Casto found the wall. Remember that first time we saw the big checkup out of turn two. When he got close to it last time. So he's been flirting with that, pushing the car. And the thing is, though, we say that for Chambliss, that didn't work out. I would say that actually the call of coming in early did kind of work out pretty good. I mean, he ended up coming across halfway at in third position, and he did lead a lap, which he probably wouldn't have if he had just come in normally with everyone else. So I think it kind of worked out, and he's sitting still in fourth. Although with Martinez now catching up to him, he may drop back to fifth pretty quickly.
Yeah, the 29's on pit lane for what is presumably his final stop of the day. And Martinez is closing in on Brian Chambliss. So I think you're right that I think I'm thinking big picture, and he was thinking short term for those points. But that could also be factored into the big picture of just trying to get as many points as you can. But they also dish out a lot at the end of the race, and I'm not sure that he's set up the best for that.
Yeah, it's going to be a separate issue. I want to think, I think a caution would help him. But I do not think, especially with most people spread out, except for a few cars here and there, most people spread out, I don't think we're going to get a caution. But you never know. Ooh, or he may be the caution. He's wicked loose off turn four.
Had the thing hung out high, wide, and handsome there for a second, gathered it up. But here comes Martinez on the outside now in turn one. Dustin German hits pit lane, so does Jerry West. And big slide for the 9. He chases it up the racetrack, and he's going to give that spot to the 18. And Sean Casto, look at his lips behind. Do you think he smells blood in the water here?
I definitely think so, too. So I think for Chambliss, he might be coming down in the next few laps. Because his tires are definitely looking on the worst side of things. And I think for the most part, everyone's going to be coming in soon, because I think everyone came in around lap 21, 23. The first stop, so pretty much due this time by, or in the next few times by. We'll see who comes first. Do you think Chambliss is going to stick? Oh, never mind. I was going to say, do you think he may stick it out as he's drifting through 1 and 2?
I'm going to say no on that one. I don't think that's likely. I think he's going to hit pit lane quickly. Approaching 20 laps to go, and I think he's going to skip it this time through. Bayley Turner hits pit lane. Big lockup for the 24.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw a huge amount of smoke from his car.
See if he got it woe down in time. Woo, that was hot, Finian.
Yeah, well, apparently, according to the sim, he didn't get a penalty, so he managed to slow it down enough.
That was lucky. Look at this battle. A lot of these drivers have already come down to pit lane, so they're battling for, presumably, the last couple spots that they'll be able to get. because they pitted a little earlier than the rest of the field, they might have some advantage. Look at this battle. Laughter.
Oh, Martinez spinning onto pit lane.
Whoa, and Casto goes around him. And I think Alec got about as much as he could get, plus a little bit more.
I heard him call on the radio on pitting. So
Well, I'm spinning.
This should be good.
That was
I
a
gotta
little.
say, though,
Would you say that pit lane entry was a little extra?
You gotta hand it to them. That was some really good car control. He didn't loop it.
Yeah.
He still managed to keep it going in the right direction and keep it from hitting anything or anyone. So solid job there. Although, yeah, as you mentioned, I think probably a little too exciting.
Little extra.
No bonus points for style. And still, and Brian Chambliss is still out on the track.
I'm trying to make it work. He's trying a different strategy this time. Maybe trying to pit with Jeff Wright and just minimize the damage. But I think at this point, Jeff Wright has the race to lose.
The problem is, though, he's losing 4/10 a lap to Wright. I guess he's just trying to do the overcut so he can pass some of the guys around him.
Alec Martinez pitting and coming out right behind that big group of cars we were just watching. And this is kind of a volatile little scrap here. These 2, 3, or 4 drivers could all get together and very quickly change the outcome of this race if they tangle, and it looks like they might.
And we'll see how aggressive they're going to be in the back half of the field. They go side by side, 29 and the 100. And in behind Jerry West in the 86 licking his chops to try to find some way around these two.
West with a big run. He's going to follow German through around the outside of the 29. Here the tires screaming for mercy from the inside lane. Big bobble by the 100. He's going to chase it up the road. Weekly on pit lane in the number 10.
So is Brian Chambliss, and Jeff Wright is coming by this time by.
9 hits pit lane, just 1 lap ahead, and now the 48 on pit road. Just getting it woed down. A little bit of lockup, but he gathers it up. Nicely done. And here's Ray Massey, currently second. He has not made his pit stop yet. He'll be the last driver to do so.
I'm sure you can't wait for the next race to get started. Can't imagine looking that damaged car around. It's too much fun.
Well, it'll be over in under 10 minutes. Chambliss returns to the racetrack, but behind that big group that was doing battle earlier, there's Caleb Weekly joining the racetrack. And Jeff Wright's pit service almost complete.
And Chambliss is all the way back in 11th. And I mean, again, he has fresh tires to work with, and some of these guys are on decently old tires, so I would imagine he should be able to catch them, but he's got some work to do. In that department, Bayley Turner, though, taking the lead.
Yeah, that's not insignificant either. 3, almost 4 seconds. But he has been out on the racetrack now for 5 laps, so that will come down quickly. But with only 18 laps to go, I wouldn't say it's impossible for him to hang on, as Alec Martinez, recovering from his slide, is back in the mix with the group ahead of him. Casto next on the list. Jerry West, Dustin German, all within eyesight here.
Yeah, and going along with the zombie analogy, what we were talking about earlier, Jeff Wright's just ahead of the horde. In the midfield.
And the green one's coming. Martinez gets those left side tires all the way down on the apron in 1 and 2. And Dustin German is representative of 4th place. So those are positions that everybody wants. It's almost 3 seconds north of this to find Jeff Wright in 3rd place. Then it's Ryan Carwile, who's 2.6 seconds clear of the 48. And then 3 seconds clear of that is Bayley Turner. So Turner's got 5.6 on Jeff Wright with 15 laps to go next time by. I quite like how this has played out for the 24.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Jeff Wright decided to stay out so long. I guess he figured he was confident in his pace to just get back out there and then go as fast as possible towards the end and make that time up. Although, again, we've seen in the past Turner has given him a pretty solid fight, especially when it comes to, overcut versus undercut. So we'll see what he's got in store this time by. Carwell just kind of hanging out in 2nd place at the moment, not really with any solid chance of catching Bayley Turner, but Jeff Wright's going to be closing up on him pretty shortly.
Big gap. That's a lot of work for the 48 to do. Here's Sean Casto going to work on the 86 of Jerry West. And now Jerry West will likely be south of Casto here in a moment.
Drifting that inside lane. not quite clear west as they both close up in German, almost 3 wide. And here comes Martinez.
Whoa.
And where is he going to go?
Yeah, that big tank slapper from right to left at the end of the front straight. We've seen that trigger wrecks in the past. But today, they get out the other side of it all right.
Oh, is he going to do it?
Oh, boy.
Is he going to do it? There he goes.
3 wide. Thought about it. He thought about it. These guys are 3 wide, though.
If it wasn't Alec Martinez that race back in Orel, I think he definitely would have got it.
Well, we might still see it yet. I think it's too early to really determine that anything has changed there. 2 by 2 to the outside.
Ooh, German sideways on the bottom. Can he hold it? Oh.
Wow, the 18 is going to get 1 and 2 in as many corners and now set sights on 4th place Sean Casso and a big dive to the bottom. And the good news for everybody is he can't take him 3 wide. There's not enough cars to do 3 wide at this point. At least not ahead of him. Jeff Wright has reeled in Bayley Turner, now gained 2 seconds since the last time we told you about where he was in relation to the 24. But I still like where that 24 is. I think he's in a good spot, and I think the advantage is going to start peeling off that 48 in the next 5 laps or so.
Yeah, just about 12 laps to go, 3 seconds to gain. It's going to be close. If anything, it's going to happen in the last 5 to 3 laps.
Castro goes defensive. Martinez to the outside, now looks to the inside. The 52 lifts early. The 18 is going to try to squeeze up the inside. He's there alongside him now. Turn 2.
The dive from the 18 was somewhat successful, not quite clear, but on the quarter panel, and should be able to throw it deep into turn 3 here.
Nose to nose, Camaro versus Supra. And looks like Alec, this time through, should be able to complete this pass in turn 1. 10 laps to go.
And in behind there, you can see Brian Chambliss working through the field, and I was a bit concerned about him because, again, he was only back in 11th, but his race his way up in his 7th now. Should be able to easily take away 6 here from Dustin German. So he's moving up pretty much back to where he was.
Again, he was 7 points behind the 48 coming into this race and really needed to make up some ground to be mathematically possible of realistically capturing this championship. It's looking like that's slipping away, but not over till it's over. One more race left to go after this one tonight at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana. Closes the door on 5th place, Chambliss to P5. Up front and for 2nd, battle is on and over. Wright grabs the 2nd place away from Carwile, and that was a huge gain the last couple of laps, and he has just eaten into the lead that Bayley Turner had, and it's going to come down to the next 3 or 4 laps. I think this might be over, but again, Turner still got an opportunity. Look at how much Wright gained in turn 2.
Yeah, I think for Turner, his tires are falling off a cliff. And Wright still has that advantage. I'm not sure he's just been running it a little bit smoother, or what he's been doing, or just because the tires are a lot younger, hasn't reached that cliff yet, but he's catching Turner in a hurry. He's going to probably catch him before I finish the sentence. Here we go. Big run to the inside.
And battle for the moment, but I don't know if Turner can do much about it. Wright was almost 0.8 of a second faster last time by, and he will take the lead away with 7 laps to go. Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
He was almost 6 seconds back about 7 or 8 laps ago.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of genuinely surprised. I guess I was assuming that Turner was able to maintain the pace he was going at, but like we mentioned, his tires just kind of fell off a cliff. And he's not even under from Ryan Carwile catching him.
Ryan Chambliss has gotten around Martinez, so Chambliss goes up to 4th. I'd say that all things considered, the pace that Chambliss has, he's actually running probably fairly representatively for where he should be. 30.656 is his best lap, and that's a little off of Jeff Wright. The fastest driver on the racetrack tonight was actually Sean Casto at a 30.612. But in terms of lap times, I think Chambliss is actually 4th fastest tonight, so he can finish P4. I think that's about as much as he could have gotten.
Yeah, it's a solid run for Chambliss. Unfortunately for Jeff Wright, it's a better run. And I mean that's going to be the big difference with the championship, right? So we'll see. Again, we still, like you mentioned, we saw that the next race coming up. A lot can change, a lot can happen. But as of right now, Jeff Wright's going to be walking in with a huge advantage if he can close this out in the next few laps.
3 laps to go next time by. Bayley Turner now facing pressure from the 71, Ryan Carwile, the leading Camaro of the bunch tonight. Or excuse me, the leading Mustang.
It looks like Carlisle's also, he's kind of stalled out a little bit now. He's caught up to the 24.
Yeah, I think Turner's struggling right now at this stage in the race, just trying to limp it to the end and stay as high up on the timing column as he can, but leaves it inside open, and Carwile took a swipe, but not close enough to get overlap yet. Coming to 2 to go next time by, 3 miles left for Jeff Wright. Chambliss well clear of Martinez in 4th. Then Martinez, Casto, German West, Rabel, Massey, the rest of the top 10.
Ooh, Carwile drifting, leaving some smoke coming out at turn number 4.
It was about as sideways as you can get one of these Xfinity cars before they get unruly. Ben Laughter has retired in the number 64. Big slide for the 24 out of turn 2, and that's going to open the door for Ryan Carwile. Here he comes now to the outside in 3. As the white flag will wave for the race leader. 1 more lap to go here from Las Vegas for Jeff Wright.
Oh, and out of the final corner too. Here comes Carwile and Turner. They're about side by side to see if Carwile's got anything on the outside lane.
Might try the undercut or the over-under here if he can just get Turner to understeer out of turn 2 like he did last lap. Look at the run Carwile's building. He's going to go to the outside. Side by side down the Nellis straightaway, and here comes the 71. Oh, they touch! They touch! Wow, big slide. Jeff Wright out front is going to come back to the checkered and win another one. For second place, though, banging doors. Ryan Carwile squeezes ahead of Bayley Turner as they come to the line. Turner tries to shortcut, not going to do it. Carwile, second place. Turner, third.
Great battle between both these two, and congrats again to Jeff Wright, as we mentioned. Coming across the line in dominating fashion. This has been the story for most of the season. Win number 6 this year, or this season, I should say, for the 48.
Out of the 18 that we've run, a third of the season has gone to this guy right here. And a little celebratory bump from Eddie Trejo in the background.
Celebratory bump that put a huge dent.
Yeah, well, you got to pass inspection somehow, right? And likely see a very brief celebratory burnout before everybody's going to get on the digital haulers and drive out west to Fontana, California. A couple hours to the southwest. 1 down, 1 to go for Jeff Wright. As we take a look at our race results. Here's a look. Jeff Wright gets it done. Carwile second. Then Bayley Turner, Brian Chambliss, Alec Martinez grabs the top 5 in his return to ORL action. Then Sean Casto, Dustin German, Jerry West, Chris Rabel, Ray Massey, the rest of the top 10 finish.
Yeah, you can probably argue that Martinez probably would have finished higher up if he didn't go spinning down into pit lane. Might have had a shot. Probably also another caution because he had to start near the back of the field and work his way through. So I think caution would have probably helped him out. But solid 5th place considering he started, I think, 11th. So really solid job for the 18. And of course, I mentioned Jeff Wright, good run, as well as pretty much everyone else in the top 3 overall. Really good runs between Carwile and Turner.
Well, let's talk to Bayley Turner, who came home in 3rd. A wild last lap there, battling door-to-door with Ryan Carwile. Bayley just lost out on that 2nd place, but that battle looked like a lot of fun. Couldn't quite hang on as the 48 came storming through on new tires. Your perspective on that run to the end, how hurt were you in the tire department?
Oh, I was hanging on for dear life there. I mean, I don't know if you guys watching the end car, but I was turning right more than I was turning left, trying to keep Jeff behind me and just trying to make time there. I knew that, you know, once he got out to about a second ahead of me on that first run, it was going to be tough. And I was hoping Brian would battle him a little harder in that middle run, make him use up his stuff a little bit. But I was trying to switch up my lines, trying to find things that were faster and kind of hurt my rear tires more than I wanted to in that middle run. And I was like, well, might as well short pit Jeff right there and kind of see what I can do. And Unfortunately, it didn't work out my way, but that was definitely a pretty fun battle there to the end with Ryan. I think I made contact with him going into 3 and backed out of it just because I didn't want that to be any worse and bring it home P3.
Solid run, Bayley. Congratulations. Top 3. Best of luck to you in the second race. We'll see you there.
Thanks.
Ryan Carwile battled to the end and won the door banging contest off into turn 3 and got back to second ahead of Bayley Turner there right at the end. Ryan, a wild one all the way to the stripe. Take us through your perspective battling Bayley Turner there at the very end.
Yeah, I was getting, once I got up to him, I got really aero tight, and he was doing a good job of taking my line away. But yeah, I got a run, he got loose, and I got a run on him. He protected the inside, which, yeah, maybe that was the right move. But yeah, just a little incidental contact, but we kept going.
Well, Ryan, congratulations. One more to go. We'll see you there. Good luck.
Yeah, see you. Thanks.
Jeff Wright gets it done, win number 6 on the season. And Jeff, congratulations. Solid run all the way to the end. Didn't really have much of a fight from Bayley Turner. He was out of tire, but you still got one more to go. Do you think you can win both tonight?
You know, I'd like to certainly try to do so. Auto Club's not my best track. You know, don't have the best numbers there, but really awesome to get a win here at Las Vegas in this league. I've been close a few times. I remember back battling Adam Cabot door by door for like 40 laps, and he got the best of me that race. So I feel like, you know, I wanted to get one of these Vegas races back and get an opportunity to win one. So it's awesome to get one here. But yeah, this puts us in a good points position going into the final race here of the season. I'm not quite sure what the gap is. Brian, he thought it'd be somewhere around maybe 10, something around there. But yeah, we just got to go there, have a solid finish, and hopefully we can bring home a second ORL championship.
Hey, Jeff, congratulations, and we'll see you in race 2 here in Auto Club in just a little bit. Best of luck to you.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, Finney, wrapping things up from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We are not done tonight. We've got a short break, and we'll be back for our second race at Fontana, California. But final thoughts on Las Vegas. That was a pretty competitive race, but we've still got one more to do, and I like Auto Club even better as a racetrack. Faster speeds, lower grip, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like we've seen a lot of really good races at Auto Club. It typically tends to put on a pretty solid show, especially when a lot of stuff is on the line. So we'll see what it's got in store for us coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll take a short break. We'll be back for race number 2 of the night, Fontana, California. In a few minutes, we'll be right back. The final race of the season, the final event of 2022, and for the Outsider Racing League. Kyle Heyer and Finney Nakuna are bringing you the last Outsider Racing League race, this time from Fontana, California. The fast high speeds and long straightaways here are perfect for some late season drama. It's now time for the last race of the season. Jeff Wright just won the race at Las Vegas, puts himself ahead of Brian Chambliss, who is only 7 points back headed into the night, Finian. But now I think Jeff Wright has the biggest advantage that he is probably going to see. All he's really got to do is finish inside the top 5, and he'll be just fine.
Yeah, I don't have the live points updated, but if I did my math correct, which I really hope I did, but I believe he lost. I believe that Brian Chambliss lost about 10 points to Jeff Wright after you include all the bonus points, halfway points, all of that. So it's about a 17-point deficit between Jeff Wright and Brian Chambliss, which is really not good. We're really going to have to probably see Jeff potentially retire from this race or have something catastrophic happen to him where he's going to finish in the back half of the field, and Brian's going to really have to step up and try to get as many points as possible. But still stuff left to play for here. It's still not over yet until the checkered flag flies at the end of this race. When we got only 40 laps, like you mentioned, it's going to be between the 2 sprint races tonight. That really seems like not a lot, right? 40 laps.
40 laps doesn't feel like a lot, but they're a little bit longer laps than the 65 we just ran, but not by that much, so this should be a little bit on the shorter side. And qualifying has been underway. This time, though, Brian Chambliss to the top of the board over Jeff Wright, and that is an intriguing difference from Las Vegas earlier in the night. Jeff Wright self-proclaimed that this isn't his best track either.
Yeah, I was going to say one guy we got to keep an eye out for is the 18. However, what you're going to see as he swings around with the camera is that he actually hit the wall coming off of turn 2, so this lap's not going to count. I was going to say that we're going to want to keep an eye on Martinez because we know that this is one of his best tracks, being his hometown track. Very good here until when he doesn't hit the wall. Oof. So we'll see here. That first lap obviously didn't count as 41.5.
Oh, he got into turn 1 again. He tank slapped it into the outside wall, so he's not going to get this lap either.
Okay, I'm sure with that Brian's going to breathe a huge sigh of relief because you get a bonus point for starting on pole. So that was really key, not just to where you're starting, but for in the points side of things. He's going to hit the wall again. Alec, you got a race, buddy. You can't keep hitting the wall.
Well, the 18 team is sitting in the paddock just waiting to repair that or get the backup car rolling. So, well, the 18 will start from the tail of the field for this one, I suppose. Look at your starting lineup there on the left.
Yeah, so that was really big for Brian to sort of swing the balance of power back into his direction, but getting it out again. It's only 1 bonus point, but him starting in the front. And I guess that also shows that he's got some decent pace. Remember, he started Vegas back in 7th and still managed to finish up in 4th. With some strategy calls. So he seems like he's got some pace here out of club, but he's definitely going to need to show that he has the pace to win.
12 seconds left here in qualifying. Martinez will not be on your pole. It'll be Brian Chambliss, Jeff Wright, Chris Rabel, Bayley Turner, Ray Massey, Sean Casto, Weekly, Passon, Carwile, and Trejo. The rest of your top 10. We gained a couple. Passon and Hurley have joined the party for this one. So up 2 from our previous race. Again, this is the last race of the season, and for the Outsider Racing League, you'll be taking a hiatus for a little while. We'll head down to the grid and roll through your starting lineup more formally here in just a moment, but we'll have a look down at the Speedway. 2 miles. This is a fast racetrack. It's a bumpy racetrack, and we talked about multiple grooves at Las Vegas. We're going to talk a lot more about them here at this racetrack. Down to the bottom, up to the top, everywhere in between. You can run from the apron to the wall here and find speed, which I think makes this place super fun to watch.
Yeah, it really is to see everyone trying to experiment with different lanes, and because it's so wide, you see guys, they're completely separated from one another, and they all can join back up on the exit of the corner, and sometimes leads to a little bit of chaos.
Here's a look at your weather. Not quite as high in terms of the track temp as we saw in the earlier race, so that is a good thing for now, but again, it can vary pretty quickly.
Oh, it definitely will. It's only 10 in the morning in Sim, or 11 in the morning in Sim, so definitely going to heat up.
Got that realistic West Coast start time, huh?
Yep.
Heading down to the racetrack now, just waiting for Brian Chambliss to jump on the front row. Some great looking liveries here in this one. Jeff Wright on the outside is switched to the Cobalt livery. Is this what everyone looked like before?
Yeah, actually, Jeff did change his paint scheme. He had a different one earlier. He had the more traditional Jimmy Johnson one.
So I have to apologize to those that were in the earlier race because I had updated iRacing, had blue screens of death leading into the broadcast, so I had to reinstall iRacing about half an hour before the live stream, and because of that, it's reset a bunch of my graphics settings, and I had custom number stuff turned off. So now we're seeing the liveries we should be seeing.
Yeah, that being said, though, it was kind of nice because you had Bayley with the right number because he's got a custom paint scheme on, I assume, for another league. Got a number 5 on his door. So just for the viewers at home, number 5 equals number 24.
That makes sense. 52's rolling backwards. He's got the car in R for race as we roll off the grid now. By the way, did you catch my joke about Alec Martinez last time when I said his entry into pit lane was a little extra?
Oh, I just caught that now.
Oh my goodness! I said it twice because I was hoping you got it. But
yeah, I'm a little slow. Sorry,
guys, I noticed that. All right, here's the starting grid. Row 1, Brian Chambliss, the number 9, Jeff Wright, the 48, championship leader, prospective champion on the outside. Row 2, Chris Rabel, the 29, Bayley Turner in the 24, starts 4th, Finian.
And moving on back to 5th, we got Ray Massey in the 23, sitting on the inside. I'm sure he's going to be hoping to make up for last race, not really being competitive in that. 52, Sean Cast on the outside in 6th. Back in behind them, Caleb Wheatley on the inside in 7th in the 10 car. Zach Pass in the 69 in 8th.
9th place, Ryan Carwile in the 71. Eddie Trejo starts in 10th in the number 21. Mike Hurley starts 11th in the number 32. Alec Martinez rolls off in 12th. Hometown boy, then Jerry West, Dustin German, 13th and 14th. That's your field, that's your grid. Here's a look at the race analysis. 40 laps in this one, just about 80 miles, 14 drivers in the field, about 3,600 feet of elevation to contend with here. All right, final race of the season. The front row starters are the drivers in the front in the championship. They are racing for 40 laps, about 27 minutes worth of racing. The final race of the Outsider Racing League getting underway from Fontana. Into the Geico start zone. Green flag, we're racing in the Outsider Racing League here at Fontana. Trouble, turn 2. Car spun around. Mike Hurley in the 32 car. Gathers it up. Stays straight. We continue.
Yeah, had a little bit of help from the 86 of Jerry West. That's how he ended up spinning the first week. But everyone's still rolling on the track.
Oh, lots of sliding around here early in the going. Martinez in the 18 is up a whole bunch of spots here on the opening lap. A couple cars scattering in the background, but up front, Jeff Wright, Brian Chambliss have traded spots, moved the 48 to the top. Chambliss to second, Chris Rabel on the inside of the 29, then Bayley Turner up on the outside.
Yeah, and for Chambliss, he's really going to want to try to get back to the lead, especially because he knows he's got a competitive car just to get that lap led and also try to get the most laps led because he needs to, like we mentioned, he needs to make as many points as possible and not let that 48 get away.
I think Zach Passon wanted to squeeze in ahead of Caleb Weakley. He tried to and then realized the 10 car was there, couldn't make it stick, couldn't make it fit. 2x2 up front, and then the 52 Acasto kind of holding up the cars behind him. The 29 and 24 having a bit of a moment there together as the 9 and 48 again go side by side. This time Chambliss has the advantage.
Yeah, just barely ahead, gonna go off into the corner like we said. Many different lines you can try. You can see the 9, the 48, and even the 29 up on the top. Gonna come back down a little bit though off the corner, but gets a really solid run.
Yeah, I love watching the side angle here down the back straightaway. You see the outside momentum carry you all the way into turn 3, the 29 as well, and then into the entry. The inside squeezes ahead, but then the outside carries the momentum. So Jeff Wright now runs wide. Side by side, still 2x2 down the front straight. This is why we love Auto Club and why I don't think they should turn this place into a short track.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if it seems like they actually really haven't heard much of the short track variant coming out. They kind of put that on hold for now, so we'll still have this track for a little while longer.
I think the track needing to be turned into a short track was necessary if they didn't change the car, but they fixed the car, at least at the intermediate tracks. I think they've kind of ruined the road racing, in my opinion, but they're always breaking something into turn 3.
By 2 steps forward, 5 steps backwards.
Yeah, or, I mean, this might have been 2 step forward, 1 step back, but we'll dive to the bottom. Here comes the 48. Elevator move. Wall to apron. Chambliss tries to carry speed in the middle of the road.
Wright's going to be there on the inside lane, but a very shallow entry off into the corner. Chambliss going to have a little bit of much better run. Wow.
That was a decisive swipe around the outside of the 48, and now Jeff Wright under attack from the 29.
Yeah, Chris Rabel making a move to the inside, going to try to take away second. Have a really solid run on the back stretch. I want to say this would be fairly easy. We'll see if Wright can try to contest. Rabel going to throw it into the corner and slide in front of the 48.
A lot of chucking it in there. Slide jobs. Throwing the car sideways, hoping it catches. You've got a lot of lanes to let your hands do the work, but Jeff Wright is getting buried right now, and that's exactly what Brian Chambliss needs if he wants to stand any chance at winning the championship tonight. It's going to have to be this, plus some bad luck for the 48, but this is the first step.
Yeah, you already see Wright up, trying at least attempting the high lane. Wow, and an aggressive slide job from Bayley Turner, going to slam in front of the 48. And all that run for naught for the 48 because he had to jump on the brakes.
Casto around the outside now, all the way up where the rubber hasn't met the road yet. A lot of yaw in that car, and he's going to squeeze up alongside the outside, and now he'll grab a position away from the 48 if he can beat him to turn one.
Whoa.
Side draft.
Yeah, I was trying to side draft, almost kind of got himself loose on the straightaway trying to make that side draft work.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the 48. Doesn't have the pace. He told us after winning at Las Vegas that he didn't think that this is one of his better tracks. He has a bit of a buffer now, but he's not going the right direction.
Yeah, definitely can't rest his laurels on that, especially when his competitor is leading all the laps and making up those bonus points. But again, it all matters at the end, really. Wright is still going to have to finish far down the order in order for Chambliss to make up that deficit that he's in.
On board with Alec Martinez, chasing Carwile, Massey, and more. And I love how this track races. Everybody splaying out multiple cars wide on the straightaways. And then they do the same at the corners, picking opposite lines that they did the previous lap. Just lots of learning. And look at the 18 sailing up the outside lane.
Yeah, ripping the high lane, using that run out of the corner. We've seen how much of an advantage he can get. He's going to sail by the 23 and make a move on the inside of the 71.
And up for second place, Turner to the inside of the 29. As Chambliss tries to drive away, there's the 18 and the 71 side by side. Down the front straightaway now, working lap number 9 of 40. This is going by quickly. And when are those pit stops going to hit? They have to be soon.
Yeah, remember, same thing as the last race, 50% fuel instead of the normal 80%, so it's going to come a lot quicker than most drivers think, and you got to plan that out accordingly. What are you going to pit? Are you going to overcut, undercut?
Turner still battling on the bottom of the racetrack with the 29. Sean Casto might see an opportunity to get up into the mix.
He's looking all over the track to find some sort of way he can go, but can't quite stick his nose in just yet. Makes him a huge amount of time, almost hits the back of Bayley Turner on entry.
Jeff Wright falling into the clutches of the 18 of Martinez, who slides across the nose of Carwile. Now neck and neck down the back straight, Turner and Rabel again. They have not been able to deal with this. All the while, Chambliss has sprinted out 6/10 clear. Now 7/10 clear. Quarter of the race complete.
Turner still holding on to that inside lane. Rabel trying to make something work on the outside. They still continue sideways slide, and Chambliss is enjoying all these guys fighting for position because he can just get a much bigger lead. Get separated from everyone else in behind. Jeff Wright starting to lose to Alec Martinez. Yeah, it looks like Alec has gotten himself on by now. Carwile looking to the inside of the 48. Yeah, I'm really surprised by Wright just falling back.
Yeah, I think what Chambliss is liking is you see the 52 hang the rear end out, is that he's going to be in control of the race now, right? That's what Jeff Wright had the advantage of at Las Vegas, was when you're out front, when you pit is kind of when everyone else bases their pit stops off of, and you've got that control because you've got that extra track position, that extra time on the racetrack, and then you can play that offensive position by pitting later and drive up past everybody. The 9 put himself on defense really early on by pitting early in the sequence to try to get an advantage on the 48. So, there's a lot of advantages from being out front, not the least of which is from a strategy perspective.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it too, right? We're talking about, halfway points that's going to come into play. That's only coming up in 8 laps. We're already just about halfway through this race. So, and I'll be surprised. I don't know. Do you think these guys can make it on just one pit stop with 40 laps?
This race is a little bit shorter, not by a ton.
But with 50% fuel?
It's 80 miles. Half of that is 40 miles, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like they can typically do at this racetrack probably somewhere around 40 laps or so, 35 to 40 laps. It'll be close. But I would think they could get to at least lap 16 or 17 and then maybe do a splash and dash later. Wright is really struggling.
Yeah, he's going to eat up by a good amount of the field. He's trying to, I think, work back on the 52 to get past him. Couldn't quite get that done. An aggressive block up in front of the 29 trying to keep Martinez at bay.
Well, that's not going to work for too long. Hometown kid drops to the inside lane, and Martinez goes for third. And this is especially impressive because of where he started this race, which is all the way back in 12th at the rear of the field, and he's already into third by lap 14.
Yeah, this is what I was kind of expecting to see, is that this 18 near the front, unfortunately, because he hit the ball in qualifying, couldn't qualify up in the front. But definitely has the race pace.
Well, I'm worried about Jeff Wright is in this mix. This is where you can get sent around and crashed pretty easily as everybody's kind of scrapping for the bottom half of the top 10. I would say this is a much riskier place for him to be. And if he were to crash, that would very drastically change the outcome of this night that looked like a pretty solid conclusion about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, if he wrecks out, and Chambliss, who doesn't say that Chambliss was about to wreck himself, he was loose off of turn 2. Here comes Turner now with the run.
For the lead. To the inside comes the 5 Camaro. The 9 brings him to the white line. Is it going to be enough, though, to hold him off?
Ooh, he's trying to pinch him down low. Messed up the 9 mid-corner, though. He's going to drift up the track. I don't think he's going to get the run. Turner, I think, is just about there. Here comes the 9 back on him, though. Drag race down the front straightaway.
And look who's creeping into the picture. The 18 of Alec Martinez. This looks very strangely familiar to a certain race back in 2013 when the front 2 were battling. No one was paying attention to who was third, and that car was the number 18, and the number 18 went on to win the race.
Oh, he's going to probably do a lot more than that if this continues. He's just shy of halfway. Martinez closing in very quickly.
To the outside again goes the 18 as the 2 leaders hunt on the bottom. Chambliss trying to hold the 24 rather at bay, and the 18 around the outside rim. Ryden's going to have a big run, and he's going to pass both of them here to the bottom. The 24 rather is going to try to block, but Martinez goes to the apron, and he should clear them by the time he gets to turn 1.
Yeah, massive run out of the corner from Martinez, and here comes Turner, going to throw it back up the inside, not going to let this rest. Doesn't have enough grip, though, at this point. Chambliss trying to turn it down and gets blocked by Turner.
Oh, the 9 was almost there. He really needed to get back to the outside of Turner to keep him blocked off from running the 18 now. But now that they're single filed out, the 24 might be able to go to the lead again as the drivers behind him go 3 abreast into turn 3, and the 29 goes all the way to Seattle. He went so high. Oh, trouble! They're going to crash!
Oh.
The 52 gets slammed into the wall. The 48's clear of it, but Casto with a hard impact to the outside wall.
Yeah, no caution, but a few cars with a decent amount of damage, especially the 52.
Oh! Just everyone kind of came together there all at the same time. That will likely be the end of Casto's night, at least competitively. Meanwhile, that cleared a couple cars out of the path for Jeff Wright. He's back to 4th.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's lucky he was right in front of this when that happened, so he was able to avoid any disaster. Ooh, Turner down to pit lane, yeah.
He heads on down, excuse me, for 1 second. We're going to have to grab a tab, okay.
And And Zach Passon has now appeared in 4th place.
Down the back straightaway now, 18, 9, 48, 69, and 23, 1 through 5. Martinez way high in 3 and 4. Trying to rim ride that as we hit lap number 20. That means that you can easily make it to the end from here with a little bit of mindfulness on the fuel remaining in the tank. But I would say that you're good to the end next time by.
Yeah, well, I think for Bayley, he's definitely going to hope that he's good to the end, right? Because he came in really early. I would imagine he knows that he's good to the end because he wanted to get that undercut. Because if he has to pit twice, his race is going to be completely over.
To turn 3. And I think we're going to see a lot of cars hit pit lane this time through. No, they're going to stay out again. Maybe they want a little bit of security.
Yeah, I figured at least Chambliss and Wright were going to stay out because now we officially come through halfway and those points are given out.
That's a good point.
And now we're probably going to see a majority of them come in this time by. Which I guess makes sense because, again, we were hoping that for Bayley Turner, he's going to have to make around 22 laps on his tank. Yeah, and I hear the 69 of Zach Passon, he's coming in.
The field will come back around, and this time the 18 is going to come, and a handful of others will come with them.
Oh, Chambliss and Wright notably staying out. Actually, a decent amount of people staying out. So about half the field staying out, half of them coming in.
Again, if you're staying out at this point, it's all about that aggression at the end of the race. You want to have the offensive maneuvering, right? You want to have the tires to drive forward. And with the laps being a little longer, I think the overcut is a little bit of a safer bet on this track than it was at Las Vegas. We were only about 6 or 7 laps away from seeing it work out for the number 24 there, right to the outside.
And Chambliss is coming in this time by. Not sure about the 48, but both of these guys passing each other on track, and it looks like they're both coming in.
They're going to come in kind of door to door here.
I think they're actually out of gas. I hear sputtering from the 9, I think.
Well, they made it. Ooh, I think the 9 he's clutching in.
Yeah.
Oh, the 71's in the wall behind him. Big impact for Ryan Carwile. Here's a look at what happened. He just comes up. He already had some damage, but he just comes up, locks up the rears, and bam.
Ooh. That's a pretty decent ding into the wall.
I'd say so. The Wright and Chambliss into their boxes. Where is Bayley Turner?
That's going to be a huge loss for Chambliss. Running out of fuel on pit lane, lost a huge amount of time.
But again, I think I mean, it's a lot of time for sure, but I like being on offense here. There's a lot of laps, or not a lot of laps left, I should say, but just a lot of distance left. And the more distance, the more tire everyone else is going to use. So it's not going to be helpful.
I'm sorry. I was referring to Chambliss in reference to Wright. I think for Wright, I think he definitely has a solid chance to catch Turner. But for Chambliss running out of fuel, it's definitely going to cost him a lot.
Yeah. Well, Wright back into the mix now, up into 4th. Slots in line just ahead of Zach Passon in the 69 car. And out front, Bayley Turner with 17 laps to go. The next driver behind him is Alec Martinez in the number 18, who took the lead in kind of a wild fashion, 3 wide. He's led 4 laps this race and has now 17 laps left to go run down the driver ahead of him and defend from those behind.
Yeah, I would say before this race win, it's going to come down to, I think, the 24, the 18, and the 48.
For the duking and diving here, but Jeff Wright has an advantage now over the 9 of Brian Chambliss, and that's all he needs. He doesn't need to go out here and win the race. He just needs to not bin it and not have that 9-car win. Well, Dustin German got sideways enough to kick some smoke up.
Yeah, Jeff Wright's going to want to make some quick work here if he wants to try to get this race win. Again, with him being ahead of Chambliss, that should lock up the championship, but I mean, I'm sure he's going to try to go for win number 7 here. Especially when he knows he's got a semi-decent car underneath him.
German way up the racetrack, trying to carry that speed down the straightaway, and there's the advantage, bottom versus top, of the momentum you carry. And for the longest time, running the outside line was not something that was really possible in oval racing simulators. And it took a couple of years for iRacing, and it was only in recent years that the outside really became a viable option, or tracks that were completely one or the other. And now there seems to be a fairly decent balance. Tracks that the outside works in the real world, you can use it, or you can use the bottom where applicable. And both lines kind of can ebb and flow in terms of their efficacy throughout a day. But it's not, you don't have to look back too far to find iRacing races or Enter 2003 races where everyone was always on the bottom because it was a short way around and therefore mathematically the best.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I mean, I started iRacing back in 2011. That's how it was for a very long time.
I still think there's some factors that haven't really been considered. Most notably, I think they actually, one of the major changes was variable grip, wasn't it? Variable grip strips, basically?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I think there's some more detail to that could be refined. But it still really is satisfying.
I completely forgot they added those.
Yeah, it's been a couple of builds now, I think. But it did seem to help. Not a guy that runs a lot of oval racing, but it does seem to have made the racing a little more realistic to watch. But you don't see drivers running all on the bottom or all on the top. You see a variety of different lines, and that's very satisfying to watch. 13 laps to go. Turner leads Alec Martinez, who is running faster, but just chipping away. 1.3 is the gap.
Yeah, it looks like his progress has kind of started to slow down. I was expecting it to be a little closer, and he needs to be a little bit more if he wants to try to get this win, but definitely think the battle is going to be brewing between the 18 and the 24.
Zach Passon is kind of following Jeff Wright at the moment, taking every step with him. Battle for a 10th place, Sean Casto and Chris Rabel. This is for just the inside of the top 10, the 29 with some damage.
Yeah, with some damage. That was damage from that contact off of turn 4 with the 71 and also the 52. So both of these cars with both these guys damaged. The 29 a little bit worse off because he got dinged from the left and the right.
Wright and Passon still trying to run down Martinez, but only about a tenth a lap. Martinez is chipping into Turner 2/10 a lap, and the difference is down to under 1 second, 9/10 at the moment. We get 11 laps to go this time through.
I saw some tire smoke off of turn 4. I'm trying to see who's responsible for that.
Martinez now 6/10 back. This is going to be the battle. And when they start to fight, Jeff Wright and Passon will probably be ready to pounce. And Dustin German and Eddie Trejo not too far behind. There's Eddie in the 21. Started in 10th, up to 6th. This is a very solid night for the United Rentals number 21.
Yeah, Eddie's had a pretty solid season. Of course, getting his first overall win at Talladega. Was very happy man after that one. Let's see if we can get a top 5 here. We can just get past the 100 of Dustin German up in front.
Lifts off throttle, tips it in. Battle for 5th.
Battle for the lead.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah, it was really quick. I think for Turner, his tires are starting to fall off. Martinez, he's just getting warmed up here.
Yeah, but you have to be very careful to watch the gap behind. That 2.5 seconds can dissipate pretty quickly. You're already watching the hundredths begin to drop. 18 to the outside. He's going to carry a bunch of speed here, and it's going to make this look easy to the bottom.
I'm actually surprised Turner didn't put up more of a fight. I thought he was going to try to block him, make him lose the momentum on the straightaway, but Turner just kind of let him go on by. He's going to pinch him, though, the inside. I guess that's his tactic. Keep the 18 pinched the inside lane.
Take away the lane that makes him good. It's the outside. Martinez is stuck down there now. And this is going to be catastrophic for both of them, I think, because Wright is now only 2 seconds back, and that gap is going to come down very, very quickly. 8 laps to go next time by. Martinez needs to clear the 24. Not quite able to yet.
Yeah, you really can't, being stuck on that bottom lane. You really want that outside to get that run off the corner because these straightaways are so long. But Turner's got that lane and that advantage. Ooh, almost goes down to hook the 18.
Yeah, they're just trying to keep him side drafted here. Martinez pushes him up the track into turn 1, still side by side. There, he finally clears him, but kind of an awkward entry, and Turner's going to cross him over.
He's going to compromise his exit, and here comes Turner back on him, this time on the inside lane.
See, working the wheel there. Working the wheel in the cockpit. He was sliding the whole time. Martinez goes defensive, break the draft, now back up to the outside. Now he's got control over this a little bit better.
Oh, he tries to throw it in there, almost turns the 18.
Yeah, now Turner's done for, though. All that extra work on the tires is going to cost him. But they bled about 0.8 of a second to Jeff Wright. 7 laps to go, and now you got to run, because the prospective champion is coming, and he's coming quick.
Probably not as quick as he would like. He was only about 1/10 faster than Martinez last lap through. That's considering Martinez was still kind of battling with the 24, so he's not quite catching him at the rate I think that he would be liking.
Turner trying to get back to him. I just don't think he's got the grip to do it. 1.5 back to Jeff Wright. 6 laps to go. Cue the Jaws music here in Southern California. Far from a beach, but
I'm actually surprised Turner has still kept in touch. I was thinking he was going to fall off a little bit more. Only thing is I don't really think he's got anything for the 18. Like, the only thing I think he could try to do is just punt him out of the way.
Trejo grabbed 5th from German that time through, so moved the 21 up to P5. Alec Martinez, 5 laps to go, and leads by 1.5 over Jeff Wright.
I hear Bayley Turner and Jeff Wright. I think both of them really would like a green light checker to make things more interesting. And with Jeff Wright claiming the fans would really like a green light checker.
I bet they would. All those Chevrolet fans in the grandstands can't have a Toyota lead, can they? Down to the apron in turn 3. Ryan Chambliss buried in 8th. Running out of fuel cost him potentially the chance to win this race. But without Jeff Wright having a lot of bad luck, it would have been all for naught anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say he really needed that was the real key in the gun. Key in the gun, bullet
key
in the
gun. It started
bullet.
like an F-250.
Bullet in the gun for Brian Chambliss, because again, he came into tonight in general with these last 2 races with a 7-point deficit. Lost some points with the last race. It looked like he might have been able to at least close that gap up from Vegas, but still had more points to make up and really needed Wright to have a bad finish. But I mean, he's up in 3rd and might not even finish in 3rd. He might finish 2nd and even 1st. Here we got 4 laps to go.
Put the key in my assault gun, my AK F-250.
Is that the safety of key? Put a key in and turn it.
3 laps to go. And the gap has not changed too much. 4 miles, it's about 5 miles remaining now. 4 miles when they get back to the stripe. There is some lap traffic, shouldn't be too much of an issue. The championship is all but decided, provided that Jeff Wright can finish 2.5 more laps unimpeded.
Turner really losing a lot on the entry, and that's where Wright's making that up.
2 laps to go this time through. This is the second to last lap of the season, and for the Outsider Racing League, who will be taking a hiatus for an indefinite amount of time. At the conclusion of this race, the champion, likely Jeff Wright, will be the champion for quite some time. Down the back straightaway for the penultimate time.
Yeah, they're getting really close to each other here, every single corner. It looks, Turner, it looks like that car is about to put a flat and go flying to the outside wall at any point, but he's still got, it looks like he's still got a little bit left.
White flag, 2 miles left in the Outsider Racing League. 2 miles left in Fontana. Jeff Wright up behind the 24 Turner to the outside. Too far back to catch the leader, but close enough to battle his teammate.
Whoa, and a slight jump from Turner. Loses a lot of momentum on the outside of the corner. Going to race Jeff Wright to the line as Wright goes below the line trying to make some moves.
Takes a block, but he gets by. Jeff Wright to second. Alec Martinez in the number 18 on his ORL return. Only 2 races in out of turn number 4. Power slide back to the stripe. Young Alec Martinez, winner at his home track in the Interstate Batteries 18. Martinez does it in Fontana, and Jeff Wright at the number 48 gets it done. Third place in the race, actually, and he will come on out on top in the 2022 championship. What happened at a turn 4 that did we miss?
Basically, like Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards at Kansas.
Oh boy,
not as bad. It didn't go flying to the wall, but basically a big, good over/under.
I thought this was over here, but Jeff went to the apron.
Yeah, you can see he went all the way flying up the track, and Turner saying thank you very much.
Well, I took that spot back. I thought they were just playing some teammate games there, but nope, they actually made the pass. But Jeff Wright is your 2022 Outsider Racing League champion, and he will head back to celebration. A good season, 6 wins on it, battling teammates and friends and foes. All different types of racetracks. If you look back at his season, it'd be pretty hard to point out anything that he did massively wrong. No finishes worse than 8th.
Wow.
Wins at Chicagoland, Michigan, Las Vegas, Iowa, Bristol, North Wilkesboro. A lot of short tracks on that list. A couple intermediates as well. There's Alec Martinez, the race winner. That is a classy move there. Race winner and champion winner. But both will celebrate in their own right here at Fontana. And a bittersweet ending to the Outsider Racing League. Burnouts.
They think just saying, hey, wait up, we'll try to do burnouts together. There we go. That's the money shot.
Alex got that figured out. So does Jeff Wright. Look at that burnout.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I could do burnouts like that, but I don't win enough.
And they carry it all the way down this front straightaway? I hope so. We've got a great shot of this once they pass under. Look at that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So burnouts and celebration. Here's a look at your race results. Alec Martinez in his return gets it done. Bayley Turner, Jeff Wright ends up your champion. Runner-up, Brian Chambliss of the season, gave it all he could. Couldn't quite do it, though, in that number 9.
Yeah, it wasn't quite enough. It's still a very solid season for Chambliss in general. 2 wins. He's done pretty good. Unfortunately, you just happen to be competing in a season where Jeff was absolutely on fire. Jeff's been pretty good and usually a championship competitor for most seasons, but this season was something else. He just had something going, something really good. I guess it might have been the change to the Xfinity car. Just really understood it really well and dominated most of the season.
Let's talk to our runner-up in the race. Bayley Turner comes home in second. Good battle all the way to the end there with your teammate, Bayley. Well, Jeff won the championship, but he didn't win that race to the line. Take us through that battle.
Yeah, that was the fun one there towards the end. I didn't save as well as I wanted to on the first run, and Alec did a great job with that. And I was like, well, as soon as he got by me, I was like, I'm just going to try to maintain contact and then veer off and pit early. Past races here, usually the overcut works. So I knew I was in trouble there. So I was just saving as much as I could until Alec got to me. Then I was trying to race him hard. At that point, the tires were just gone. And then after he got by me, I knew Jeff had even fresher tires. So just doing everything I can to get off the corner good, give Jeff the dirty air. But, it's usually where I end up finishing P2, P3 in this league. That's usually what happens there behind Jeff or Mitch Welker or AJ Stravato or one of those guys. So finishing second to the championship and Jeff a couple seasons ago. And that's about where I ended up in this league. So it's pretty fitting that that's where I end up finishing in this last race. But I just want to give a huge shout out to Brian, Andy, David, Jeremy Miller for coming on this season, and all the people that have done a good job putting on this league. You guys with the broadcast, the best in the business. Every other place I've been, nothing compares to you guys. So it's been a pleasure racing here in this league with all you guys.
Appreciate it, Bayley. Thanks for the kind words. And, of course, it's been quite the journey the last couple of years. And just a till we meet again, not a goodbye, certainly. And we're not going anywhere, at least in terms of the community. That's what I like about iRacing is the community around it doesn't die. Where you race and when you race might, but the friends you make are forever. So, Bayley, thanks so much, and appreciate you talking with us. Congrats on a P2.
Thanks, guys.
Next up is going to be our race winner, Alec Martinez in the number 18, and his return to the series gets it done in style. Beats Bayley Turner and comes through to win. At one point, you took the lead away 3 wide, high, wide, and handsome. Alec, congratulations. Hometown race for you. Take us through your night.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It was good to be back, and it's good to be talking to both y'all. It's been a while, but yeah, fun race, and I'm glad we were able to use the top there and get underneath Bayley and get underneath Brian there when they were battling and help when they held each other up and side drafted on the straightaway. But man, it's awesome to win at the home track, and congrats to Jeff, man. And it's awesome to win the final race here for this league, and this league has gotten a lot of friendships going along the way, and it's just it's awesome to win the final one, and I hate seeing it go, but man, it had such a good run, and just awesome to see, man. And I just want to say thank you to Brian, Andrew, and David for running this, and you guys for broadcasting it. It's you guys are one of the best in the sim, man, and it's awesome, and I'm glad to see you commentating some real life races, Kyle. And I've gotten into broadcasting myself lately, and it's because of you guys, and because of all the great commentator teams we have in NASCAR, and because of you guys. So it's awesome, man. And again, thank you to all the league and all the drivers that we've had in here, and all the friendships we've gone away. They'll last a while. So I just good to be here, man.
Alec Martinez finishes out ORL where he began, right up on top. Alec, congratulations. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, man.
Runner-up in, let's do Jeff Wright first, because he's the champion. We want to finish things out with Brian Chambliss. Jeff Wright, your 2022 Outsider Racing League champion, and for some time will be the final champion. It's not to say that there won't be a future here, but Jeff, congratulations. A solid season, a handful of victories, and no worse than 8th. That's what a championship season looks like.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun, and I had a little bit of luck on my side. A lot of times you can get caught up in wrecks and have some bad finishes, and thankfully I was able to dodge all of that this season. Like you said, 8th place was my worst finish, which is just unheard of. You don't see that happen without a little bit of luck on your side. So awesome to get another championship, though. Like you said, this could be the last one for the foreseeable future in terms of the league, but just want to thank all the league admins so much. Andrew Tolganoff, Brian Chambliss, David Mott Jr., everything they do to put this thing on the last several years. I made so many friends starting out in this league, and just met a lot of great guys, and I owe all that to this league. And I got to dedicate this win to Andrew Tolganoff, the team owner of Billy Racing. We got you one, Andy. I know I had a championship earlier, 2020, but that wasn't on Andrew's team. I actually left and went to Bayley Turner's team and got a championship. So I told Andrew, we're going to try to get you one. We got you a championship, Andrew, and, just got to give him a big shout out. He's the one who recruited me into this league in 2019. So this one's for you, man. I'm so happy we get this W and get this championship.
Well said. And again, another solid season, Jeff. And as I told your teammate Bayley Turner, that the friendships last a whole lot longer than the racing leagues do. We've been around long enough to see them be born and go away and be born again. So that happens, but the friendships you make along the way certainly don't. So, Jeff, congratulations. Well said. Deserving champion this season, and we'll see you around.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Brian Chambliss, one of the admins of the series, and this night will come up runner-up in the championship. But Brian, this culminates a couple of seasons, couple of years on Sim TV, and while it wasn't a championship for you tonight, certainly a lot to reflect and look back on.
Yeah, it's it's been a great run, and all things come to an end. But at the end of the day, we've all come together here on Saturday nights, and it's been it's been a hell of a good time. We've made a lot of great friends, built a pretty good community here. So I'm sure we'll be sticking around for a while, at least friendship wise. And it's been great. These guys have done a great have meant a lot to me, and it's been a great ride. Made like I said, a lot of friends. You guys, you Kyle and Finian, you guys have been great to us, and I want to make sure you guys know how much we appreciate your time, because you guys are in this with us. So you guys are spending your Saturday nights, granted getting paid for it, but you guys do solid, and we're I like to think of us as pretty good friends, and it's been great. We've really enjoyed you guys. It's been a great run, and it's a little shorter fields, but I think we still put on a pretty darn good show these two races here, and at least leave on a high note.
Absolutely, and Brian, you took the words out of my mouth there. And yeah, certainly in broadcasting, there's transactions involved, but at the end of the day, we have the ability to choose which ones we do and which ones we don't in terms of the leagues. And we've chosen you guys for a long, long time, and there's a reason for that. And it's not always the quality of the racing. There's a big part of that, but a lot of it is the friendships that you build along the way, and to build relationships and to be hanging out in the same community. It speaks volumes that we've been here for 3 years now. So big thanks to you, Brian, and for your continued effort week in and week out, pushing this along even at the times when it wasn't easy. Big thanks to the other admins as well that aren't here tonight to celebrate, but you guys should be proud of what this was. It really is spectacular, and as we said earlier, it's always a till we meet again, not a goodbye, certainly.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we'll still be around, and we'll keep in touch for sure. But thank you guys. A little short on a championship, but hey, I was just happy to be be a part of one, get a couple wins this year. It's been great. But yeah, like you said, we really enjoyed what you guys have done for us. Definitely done above and beyond for what this sim broadcasting does, and this is service. And you guys put on a hell of a show, and anyone that is looking for your services, it's well deserved. And you guys are great guys.
Thanks, Brian, and again, appreciate all your time and effort.
Yep, we'll see you around.
Wrapping things up here from the Outsider Racing League here on Sim TV. And Finian, it's been a couple of years, and this league has kind of changed and shifted a couple of times. It started out as a virtual racing league. That eventually this was kind of born out of the virtual racing league, but I think that was all the way back in the fall of 2018. So we're almost knocking on the door of 4 years at this point.
Yeah, I was actually just went back to go double check the dates, but yeah, it's been almost coming up on 4 years that we were broadcasting them. I want to say they're almost tied, or may have actually technically exceeded the amount of time we've been covering them between Scars and 3 Wide. They're definitely up there. It's kind of amazing. It's been almost 4 years since we started covering them. But yeah, I mean, it does feel that, because we've been covering these guys forever. We've seen so many drivers come and go, mostly a lot of the same guys sticking around for a long part, which has been really great to see. So many guys come through and do well, and know these guys for so long, and we'll still know them afterwards, like everyone's been saying. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how long we've been covering them. It was a great ride all 4 years.
Well, that's going to do it for the Outsider Racing League. If you'd like to join our Discord in the YouTube description, you can find out more of the leagues that we operate with. This is, again, as we've kind of taken a step back in recent months, this was kind of the last legacy league that we've been working with on a regular basis, at least for the time being. So you'll have to look forward to some new racing that will start up on Tuesday. The Area iRacing League will kick things off next week. So we'll be there with them upcoming. So maybe some new relationships forming along the way. Some familiar names and faces. Alan Elwood, ring a bell? Some fuel leftovers. We'll see you next week for the Area iRacing League. More action on Sim TV upcoming this summer. We'll see you more often than we have been the last couple of months, coming soon. Kyle Heyer alongside Finny DeCunas. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for supporting all this time. We'll be back with you on Monday for a new series and new faces. We'll see you there.